Okay. Greetings, good evening. So we're continuing with a yoga flow. So if you come in or if you come into the room after uh, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock here, then you can start your own flow and then join in when we do core. So the intention for the rest of this month, if you're participating, is to finish your last meal earlier so that by the time we're done with the flow and the core movement practice, you're warm, you're pliable, and you're ready to shut down, to cease eating. Close the kitchen's closed, and it's a good opportunity to catch up on your rest, right? Plugging into the charger. Quite often we're focusing on just exercise and food and neglecting rest. I know that's one of my most challenging areas. And you'll be amazed at what your skin and what your organs and your elimination will do from the simple nutrient of sleep. So, if you are familiar or have some kind of yoga practice, we usually start with sun salutations. Just a set of sun salutations can be a complete practice, and it can really flow when you commit it to memory. So sun salutations, or what is known as Surya Namaskar A and Surya Namaskar B. Just by themselves, whatever you do on the right, you complete on the left. That would be um, a balanced movement. So just your sun salutations. Know that just your sun salutations by themselves, the beginning of a practice, can be enough. It, Particularly if you are pressed on time, or you're a busy parent, or you have a very full schedule. Even if you hit your sun salutations, you're opening up most of the joints inside the body. So that can suffice for an actual practice. We don't have to get so busy and do every pose in the world. Having a practice that, particularly if you can commit it to memory, that will allow you to relax more into the pose, and then you can free up your mind to pay more attention to your breathing. Be mindful that your breathing, you're synchronizing your breathing and the cadence of your breathing with your movement. So we're going to do a bit of core, because strengthening the back and the glutes, which are an important part of your core musculature, um, is extremely important, because many of us are deconditioned from sitting so much, and we're actually, many of us are open to a lot of injury. I think someone said something. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so we're going to do, we're going to keep the movements very, very simple, because sometimes information overload, we can have a lot more stuff and not execute them with any quality. So here, less is going to be more. So sun salutations and focusing more on the breath so that you can quiet an overstimulated mind. That can really set the tone for deep rest. The time that we go to sleep before 10 o'clock can be more restful, and we have more of an opportunity to get into deep REM sleep, where the body can really repair itself. So that is the intention. So We're going to do alternate arm leg reach, or what is also called bird dog. So I'm going to ensure that we're in tabletop position. Let's go back more so that the other screen can see. We're in tabletop position, and the pelvis, the bowl of the pelvis, is like a full bowl of water, is tilted upwards. So the pelvis is tilted towards the nose. So the lumbo-pelvic hip rhythm means that you can't move your glutes and your hips. You can't move one without the other, so they move in concert with each other. We want to make sure that we have a long spine. If I'm arched this way, that is shortening my lower back. I want to make sure that I tuck my pelvis under, and I'm drawing, even though you can't see with my top, I'm drawing my belly button in towards my spine. My fingertips are spread nice and wide. My fingers, in particular my thumb, index finger, and pinky, I'm spreading nice and wide. I'm really pressing my hands into and away from the floor. So at no point am I letting my elbows droop. I also want to be mindful of the alignment, that my wrists are placed right underneath my elbows, which are placed right underneath my shoulders. This is not in alignment, and done over time can create injury. This is not in alignment. So I'm exaggerating, but I want to make sure I spread my fingertips and place my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder on top of each other, that they're stacked. Also, if you look from the front, my knees, this is an uneven base of support. So I'm going to open up my knees so that my knees are lined up right underneath my hips. Right? So that will be my tabletop. Additionally, I want to ensure that my head is not dropping down, and it's also not looking all the way back. This is shortening my neck. So if I were to put my hand back here, I should have a nice long neck. Draw your belly button into your spine. We're going to pull the left elbow and the right knee together, really squeeze them together in the center, and then do a full extension. Ready? Here we go. Synchronize your breath with your movement. Here we go. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Take a moment, roll the wrists out. We're going to come back to tabletop position. This will be a modified position. Or if you're feeling a little bit stronger, you can curl your toes under, straighten the legs out, keep your butt out of the air, so tuck the hips under. And what we're going to do is bring the knee, imagine bringing your knee to the outside of the elbow, so we're working our obliques and our core. Okay? So if you are in a modified position, hips are tucked under, you're going to step the right foot outside of the right hand, bring that knee back to center, keeping the hips tucked under, and then left foot outside of the left hand. If you're not taking the modification, then make sure your hands are really, and your fingertips are spread nice and wide. Make sure your elbows and your hands are pressed away from the floor. Straighten out the legs, and you're going to step the right foot out, and then the left, right? The next part of the movement pattern, so the first part we step flat. The second part, you're going to bring your knee over towards the elbow, and opposite side, knee over to the elbow. So you're going to feel your scapula working. As you're pressing your arms straight, you're going to feel the back of your arms working, and you're going to feel your core engage. So it's a lot of flexibility. It's actually a lot going on there. So you'll feel your body temperature get nice and hot. So if you're taking a modification, you're in tabletop position with your pelvis tucked under, belly button is drawn into the spine, and listen to your inhale and exhale. If you're straightening out the legs, do so. Belly button out of the air. So step the right foot outside of the right hand. I'm feeling that opposite leg. My left hip is opening. Keep the butt out of the air. Step back to the center. And left foot steps outside the left hand. Back to center. And now bring the right knee towards the elbow. Back to center. And left knee towards the elbow. Back to center. Again, flat. Right foot steps outside the right hand. Back to center. Left foot steps outside the left hand. Back to center. And knee to elbow. On the right side. Back to center. And the left side. Back to center. Last time. Flat. Right foot outside the right hand. Back to center. Left foot outside the left hand, back to center and knee to elbow, right knee to the center, left knee to the center, and rest. So you should start to feel your arms burning, and you're also working shoulder stability. Stabilizing the shoulder is a good way to keep yourself injury free, because the most common injuries are usually in the shoulders, the knees, and the lower back, and it's often due to a lack of shoulder stability. Which, by the way, if at any point push-ups, planks, or upper body movements, if your scapula is winging or you're dropping down, this is very unstable. When you're pressing your fingertips wide and flat, this is stable. This is not stable. This is stable. Many of us will have a tendency to do this on push-ups, and we could be creating neck problems and exacerbating pre-existing conditions with the shoulder. Right? So we're going to take the opposite side, alternate arm leg reach. So elbow to knee, the opposite side for 15. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So a tail wag, if you wag your tail, that will help to release your lower back if your lower back is nice and tight. So let's take that core movement again. That will get the body nice and hot. Spread the fingertips and the hands again. If you're in a modified position, you're going to stay on all fours. Otherwise, you're going to curl the toes under, straighten the legs out. Step the right foot outside the right hand. We have 3 of each. Back to center and left. And knee to elbow. So this is right and left. That's 1. This is 2. Right foot outside the right hand to the center and 2. Knee to elbow and 1 and 2 and flat again. Right, center, and left. Knee to elbow. Right and left and center. So core temperature should be nice and hot. We're going to take one more set of that alternate arm leg reach, keeping in mind that when you lengthen the arm, as much as possible, respecting your body's own strength and range of motion, you want to strive when you extend your arm and leg to get them on one plane, and also your thumb is pointed up towards the ceiling, right? You're going to try to get the arm, the shoulder, your back muscles, and your leg all on one plane, so you don't want the arm to drop down. Also, as you extend your arm, make sure you can hear your exhale and then also your inhale as you pull the arm in. Tabletop position. Tuck the pelvis under. Draw the belly button into the spine. Left elbow to the opposite knee, to the right knee. Here we go. So it's 1, back a little bit, 2, 3, 4, go on for 15, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Tail wag, we're going to go right over to the other side. Right elbow to left knee. For 15, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tail wag, release your back. So we're going to take that core step one more time. Tabletop position if you're taking the modification. Otherwise, tuck your pelvis under, curl your toes under, straighten the legs. Right foot steps outside the right hand. So right, center, left, knee to elbow. Right, left, that's 1. And step it out. 1. Step it flat. And knee to elbow. Knee. Knee. Again, step it flat. Right. center, left, knee to elbow, right, and left. So you should feel your core muscles really engaged. You feel your stomach muscles working all without doing any kind of sit-ups, which for many of us is jacking up our backs because we're so used to sitting all the time that our hip flexors are tight. So our hip flexors, the muscles that bend or flex the hip, and also the psoas muscle that wraps in here and into the spine, which is very tight, is pulling us out of alignment. So we want to do a lot of movement patterns to open up the hip joint. Let me see how we're doing on time. 7:38. Okay, so we can get a bit more core muscles in here. They're not show-offy exercises, but they will get your body temperature nice and hot, all without using any machines, because over here the body is the original machine. So I'm lying flat. Now you may not be able to see, but my pelvis is tucked under. Again, I want to, if I can stick my hand underneath my back, that means my lower back is not stable. And that's often what we do with many of us with sit-ups, and that can really jack your back up. So you need to make sure that you smash your hand by tucking your pelvis under, and make the effort to glue your lower back to the floor so that you have stability for your lower back. So my palms are face down. I want to make sure my neck is nice and long. This is not straight. I want to pick my head up and extend it so my neck is nice and relaxed, right? Pelvis is tucked under. So what I want you to do is pick your legs up and adjust yourself so that you're 90 degrees. And I'm not going to move at my knee joint. I'm going to hinge from my hips. So what I want to do is palms down. I want to gently drop my left foot down. Now as I'm dropping my left foot down towards the floor, my lower back is pressed into the floor, and then I come up, not from the knees. I'm hinging and moving from the hip joint. Opposite side. Each time you lower the leg down, you're pressing, you're breathing, and you're pressing the lower back down into the floor. All right, ready? So adjust yourself. Be nice and comfortable. Pick those legs up, place them in a 90-degree angle, and tap. Keep pressing the lower back down to the floor with each repetition, and tap. 2, and 2. Looks simple, but I can really feel the hip flexors. 3, 3. Remember, with each rep, push the lower back down to the floor. 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. Last 3 and 4. 7, 7, 8. With each repetition, I'm pushing it down. 2 more. 2, 2, 1, and 1. So on that movement pattern, the more you tilt the pelvis and press that lower back down to the floor, the more stable your lower back is going to be. We always want to keep the lower back nice and stable. All right, so a bit more. We're going to extend the arms out to the side with the palms down. Pick the legs up again, 90 degrees. You can even pull them in a little bit closer. So what you're going to do is, this is also, it's working your core, your transverse, but also giving you a stretch on your lower back. So with control, right, listening to your breath, drop both knees over to your left side, nice and easy. See if you can keep your hands, the palms of your hands glued to the floor. So I feel a big, tremendous stretch, as you should, in your lower back. With control, raise the legs up to the center. Make the effort to keep your palms down and your arms outstretched. You'll even start to feel a bit of a stretch in the chest and the shoulder. And drop your legs over to the other side. Feel that big stretch in your lower back. Make sure you're breathing into each movement. Breathe into your back. Up to the center. And again, drop it over with control, nice and fluid and smooth. Back to the center. And drop it over. Again, drop your legs over to the left side with control, using the breath. Feel the stretch in your lower back. To the center. and drop it over to the right side. Good, and relax. One more. So, men or women can do this exercise. This is not just a girly exercise or a movement pattern. I even like to refer to movements as movement patterns more so than exercise, and we'll discuss that more. So there's a big emphasis that I want to place on your glutes. Your glutes, if they're not working, they're a very important muscle. If your glutes are not activated and turned on, that means they're sleeping on the job and your lower back is doing the work of your very powerful glutes. So I'm going to start to give your glutes more attention. This is great for your glutes and your lower back. So you're going to press your hands flat to the floor, and it's a bridge. On your bridges, think of putting your hip joint on the ceiling. As you press the hands into the floor and exhale, press up. Think of pressing up as high as you can. This is also going to help to open up the front of the body and the hip flexors, right? You can add a little bit more glutes by just gently opening your knees a bit at the top and squeezing your glutes. Ready? Here we go. So it's 1, go for 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, as high as you can, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, hold it up for 15, and flutter, squeeze the knees, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and drop the hips down. Take one more set of 15, exhale up, and 1. Put the hip joints on the ceiling, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Hold it up and flutter, squeeze your knees for 10, 10, 9. Keep pushing up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and drop the knees down. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock yourself gently from side to side to give your lower back a massage. You're going to roll over to your right side. Place your left hand on the floor and press yourself up. I'm going to come into a nice straddle or triangle pose. On your forward bends, you want to ensure that you're pulling your stomach muscles in. So when you're leaning forward, you train yourself to keep your stomach muscles engaged to protect your lower back. So inhale and then exhale, walk the hands forward and reach your chest down in the direction of the floor. You can also wiggle your feet from this point. That'll help you work yourself more into the stretch. Good. Walk the hands backward. You're leaning over to your right side, so you may be mirrored to me. I'm leaning over to my right side. And as I lean over to my right side, I'm bringing and reaching my left fingertips in the direction of my right toes. My left hip is grounded to the floor, and I'm reaching my arms up and out of my hips. So I feel a nice stretch along the side of the body. Circle the arm and reach it over again. Let the body float up, and I'm leaning over to my left side. My right hip is grounded down into the floor. Making an effort to straighten out my elbow. Reaching my right fingertips towards my left toes. Circle the arm around and bring it over again. Good. And come up. You're going to gently fold the legs. See if you can grab your opposite elbows. If you can. Belly button drawn in. Inhale and then exhale. And fold forward. Reach your, even if you don't have to touch the floor, but you're going to reach your chest in the direction of the floor. Come up. And usually what we do to seal a practice is we lay on our sides. We're just going to take a few moments though to set an intention. And if your hips are very tight, you can take your yoga block, 1 or 2. If you're a tall person, you can use 2 yoga blocks. But if your hips are very, very tight from sitting down, you can sit on the yoga block, and that can help give you some more space. right? Make sure that still, even though we're sitting, that you're tucking the pelvis under. You want to create a lot of space between your earring and, or your ear and your shoulder. Chin is pulled in, so the head and spine are nice and long. Take a moment to observe your breath, your body temperature. Notice if your body feels a bit more open. You're invited to take a nice big deep breath in through the nose. And out through the nose. And just start to bring your attention slowly to your breathing. Notice your inhale and exhale, nice and relaxed. You're invited to set an intention for deep, deep rests so that your body, your brain, and your organs can repair themselves. You're invited to scan your body just to check in to see if there's any tightness or any pain or stiffness. Allow your toes to relax, the front of your feet and your ankles to relax. Allow your shins and your legs to relax. You can allow your calves, your knees, and your thighs to relax. Allow your hips to become heavy and sink down in the direction of the floor. Allow your chest, your head and neck to relax. Allow your chest and your shoulders and your back to rest. Acknowledge yourself for taking some time to prioritize self-care. Look forward to a wonderful rest where we're no longer stuffing ourselves with food because the kitchen is closed. It is time for repair work. It is time to go and rest. So thank you all for joining me and celebrating my birthday month. Up very early, so I'm going to bed very early. At 4:30, we have relaxation, deep breathing, and journaling. 5 o'clock, we have Harriet Squats workout. So do fill out an application and a waiver if you'd like to participate. You'll see the details in the flyer in the community section on my different social media, which says birthday celebration. At 12 o'clock, every day we're doing some kind of nutrition, Monday through Thursday, workouts Monday through Thursday, Harriet squats. In the evening, we're doing core and flexibility and deep rest and intermittent fasting. Close the kitchen and it's time to rest. So hope you all have a wonderful sleep, and I will see you on the other side. We decide to come out here and do this again.